Hi, LifeOfApollos. I'm responding to your video by the title of, oh, I don't have it up anymore. Okay, I can't do that. It'll be appended and be a response. This is the video in which you talk about what is an irrational belief. And I think I have some contribution to make to that. It's part of your longer dialogue with Clark, but and I haven't seen the video that you're responding to. I didn't see Clark's video, so I may be missing something here, and I hope not. But the term irrational belief, or its converse, rational belief, it's opposite, do have relatively stable and widely recognized meanings. And they're a little bit, the term irrational belief or rational belief are a little bit confusing in that they don't have to do specifically with simply rationality. Rationality is logic. Start with some premises, add a couple of statements, evaluate in light of the premises, and come to conclusions. Okay, that's a deductive argument. It's formal logic. You see, a feature of logic is if you start from the premises, if you start from certain premises, you're going to get to certain conclusions. So if you want to get to a conclusion, if you have a desired conclusion, all you have to do is tweak your premises and you'll get there. Logic, and when reason is applied to only logic, or when it's used in a way to mean only logical deduction or even induction, then it may be utilized for whatever purpose you want to utilize it for. If you can get somebody to agree to your premises, usually plural, well, then you can prove whatever you want to prove. Logic is a mathematical event, a mathematical process. Okay, it can be, in fact, and it is in basic logic textbooks, presented with mathematical formulas, and they are, you know, there's a logic, I was going to say. That's a circular argument. There's a set of mechanisms by which you can utilize those mathematical formulas. They never change, and they relate to other mathematics as well. You know, they're not violations of fundamental principles of math. And so you can come up with a logical argument, or you can test an argument to see if it is logical or not. But again, it's only as good as your premises. If your premises are flawed, you're almost certain to come to wrong conclusions. That's not necessarily true. You can start with flawed premises and come to the right conclusion, but you have to make a mistake in logic to do that. But it's an internal system. It's entirely by itself, such as geometry. Okay? There's a proposition in Euclidean geometry, which is the sort of geometry most of us learned in school if we studied geometry. And it's called the Pythagorean theorem. And I can't frankly state it at the moment, but it has to do with computing the length of the hypotenuse, the long side of a right triangle. And it's related to the lengths of the sides of the triangle, the other sides. And it's related in a specific mathematical way, and it is always related in that way, and it is never not related in that way. Given the fundamental axioms of Euclidean geometry, the Pythagorean theorem is absolutely true for all time and can't not be true. Can't not be true. You can prove it. QED at the end. It's a done deal. You know? It's like the statement, George Bush is stupid. Okay. You know, I mean, where are you going to find a dissenter from the opinion? No, it's proved. Okay? The difficulty with that kind of rationality is, it depends entirely on where you start from. your fundamental and your basic premises. One of the premises, one of the fundamental axioms of Euclidean geometry is that parallel lines never meet. We have a problem with that. We can't get to infinity and check whether they meet or not. So it's a supposition. It's perfectly reasonable to make the supposition. It's also perfectly reasonable not to. And if we make a different supposition, that in fact parallel lines do meet at, well, let us say infinity. It's a nice place to meet, you know. The coffee's good, you can get a cheeseburger there. If they meet there, then the Pythagorean theorem is gone. It doesn't hold. It might be close, you might get close results, but it's not true. It's false. Ooh. Well, which one's right? Well, we don't know because it's a closed system. It all depends upon where you start. So when we use the phrase irrational belief, or the phrase rational belief, from certainly a couple of hundred years ago, and in philosophical terms, and easily 70, 80 years in common parlance, English usage in America. Oh, I forgot, we don't speak English. We speak American, that's right. Sorry to my English friends. You know, it's okay. It actually means a proposition or a belief. A belief. An irrational belief is a belief not well supported or adequately supported by evidence. We introduce another term here, Steve. Evidence. Because reason will get us anywhere we want to go. We just name our starting point, and we'll get to our desired destination. You know. Now, we might have trouble getting people to agree with our starting point. That's true, because often people want evidence for the starting point. An irrational belief is one that's not adequately supported by the evidence. And sometimes that's a little bit confusing. The earth is flat. Well, I'm going to look out my window here. And my window's clean and I can actually see through it because it's been warm the past couple of days and I was able to wash the outside and it didn't freeze. This is nice. So I can actually see through it now and it's amazing. There's a world out there. Clouds and everything. It's great. The earth is flat, excuse me. I'm not buying into this round earth idea. You know, I don't know where you came up with that. Okay. Look where I started from, the premise that my eyes would give me information about the nature of the shape of the earth. Well, that happens to be a false premise. But I could get to flat earth from there real easily, and of course, you know, virtually the entire population of the earth did until, I don't know, 16th century in our culture. The Greek